You bring the mind in us, the mind in us. We want you and lost and lost. Be careful where you've been. And lots of shots we care how you got in. We must tell that we're a
warm welcome to you on this most thrilling of evenings here at the music hall Royal! Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have the privilege of presenting for your approval the premier performance of The Mystery of Edwin Drood! This being a musical with dramatic interludes. Now, as many of you are no doubt aware, our own Mr. Charles Dickens was full halfway through the creation of perhaps the greatest mystery novel of our time when he committed the one ungenerous deed of his entire career. He died. Leaving not the slightest hint as to the outcome of his bizarre and uncompleted puzzle, the mystery of Edwin Drood. Tonight, however, when together we reach that point in our story beyond which Charles Dickens wrote no more, we shall be asking you, not just you, madam, but all of you, to vote upon key questions regarding the outcome of our plot. Our company will then make its most earnest effort to meet that supreme challenge, to contrive an ending in accordance with your specifications. So, let's all be as vulgar and as uncivilized as possible. Take off your boots, loosen your corsets. Not that much better. And enjoy yourselves! By the way, if there are gentlemen among you who arrived alone this evening and who require companionship up through the final curtains
and beyond,
then we learn to our stage manager, Mr. James Brockle, whose pleasure it is to see that.
you'll never be lonely again.
I think he wants fixing up now. His tongue's hanging out. I know he's wearing a pink tie. Sorry. But please do remember, gentlemen, that these sparkling and vivacious ingenues are not salaried employees. So we do ask that you contribute generously to their theatrical studies and that you ensure that all goods are returned tomorrow morning.
None the worse for wear.
Right, thank you. Let's proceed with this evening's bill of fare. For the first time ever, the completed musical rendition of The Mystery of Edwin Drood! Cloister, the ancient, mouldering cathedral city of Cloister. Not a particularly encouraging setting for the Christmas season now upon us. A wintry shudder goes through the giant elves as they shed a gush of tears. And here we are, in the home of Mr. John Jasper, choir master of Cloisterham Cathedral, choir master, composer, organist, and vocal instructor. John Jasper is blessed with a voice even the angels might envy. And who better to essay the role than that gifted vocalist himself, Mr. Clive Patrick?
Boredom grinds my brain down to the I'm not beyond that, considering each superb stomach and attitude and a hat to class allowed in church.
you're conserving your energies for the final curtain. John Jasper is eagerly awaiting the arrival of his beloved nephew and title character of our evening's diversion, young Edwin Drood.
Hello, Uncle!
Why, there's the lad now.
My dear Uncle.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. Devotees of male impersonation are more used to seeing Miss Nutting in Top Hat and Tails when she does her inimitable rendition of After Half a Top, Doodly-Doo. But tonight she hides her distinctive form beneath the garb of young Edwin Drood. So a warm round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen, for our guest artiste and London's leading male impersonator, Miss Alice Nutting.
Any dinner, Uncle?
You forget, Ned, that uncle and nephew are prohibited here by express agreement.
Of course, after all, there is only half a dozen years or so between our ages. Hello, Jack, don't drink yet. I must propose a toast.
A toast to what, Ned?
He asks to what? To Rosa.
Rosa.
To the fair Miss Rosa Budd. Yes, you've not forgotten that Rosa and I are soon to be wed.
That hasn't quite slipped my mind.
Yes, a tedious ceremony in your King Cathedral, John, then off with my wonderfully pretty child bride to dusty Egypt, where I intend to shake things up a bit.
It is certain, then, Egypt seems a desperate great distance.
It is indeed. This portrait of Rosa is not one of my better efforts, Jack, yet you choose to hang it here. In heaven's name, why?
Because it reminds me of you, Ned, and the happiness I wish you, Rosa.
Ah, yes, well, I'm sure we'll be quite happy, although our courtship suffers from an unavoidable flatness due to the fact that my dead and gone father and her dead and gone father were as good as married us at birth. Why the devil couldn't they have left us alone?
Tut, tut, dear boy.
Tut, tut, yes, well, it's all very well and good for you, Jack. You have the freedom to love whomever you choose.
Don't stop, dear boy, do go on.
Have I hurt your feelings?
How could you have hurt my feelings?
Heavens, you look frightfully ill. There's a strange film come over your eyes.
I've been taking medicine for pain and agony. It overcomes me. I'll be forced to seek treatment in London. Fear of the effects will soon be gone.
My dear uncle.
Let's take it as a warning. Edwin, this is a confidence between us.
It shall be sacredly preserved.
I confide in you because
we are fast friends and because you love and trust me as I love and trust you. My thanks, Jack. My dearest Uncle Jack.
my dearest nephew Ben.
A life without your friendship would be life as good as dead.
The winds of hell may blow, but as well they know, our angel company to swarm face fires below. For you,
For you,
for you,
for you.
two kings we both loved, we never mixed up kin, and yet we never was close beneath the skin. The blood that flows between us, the bonds that tie us twain. Two kinsmen, one old lovers, flee and we remain. My dearest nephew Ben.
My dearest Uncle Jack. If men say words against you, I would make them take them back. A loyal lad am I, would be but glad to die. If by my death one extra breath of life for you I die. 'Tis true, for you.
Two kinsmen, more than brothers, we never mixed up kin, and yet we never was close beneath the skin. The blood that flows between us, the bonds that tie us twain. Two kinsmen, one old lovers, bleed and we remain. Tis true, for you, two kinsmen are we true.
I mean, at these prices, two voices at the same time seems almost an embarrassment of riches. There'll be somebody down there, in fact, they're embarrassed by much. But to continue our story, young Edwin Drood has arrived in Cloisterham to offer his regards to his bride to be the fair Miss Rosa Budd, who, like Drood, is an orphan. Rosa resides at Cloisterham's most respectable seminary for young ladies, aptly, if not correctly, named the Nun's House. In the part of Rosa Budd this evening, that most delicate of English roses, that blossoming bud was even yet to be plucked. I give you the unspeakably lovely Deirdre Peregrine.
Rosa, the happiest of birthdays too. Only prayer may be able to say these words on each of your birthdays.
I fear that is not likely since, as you know, your own nephew Edwin and I will be departing for Egypt once we are married.
It was only a wish, Rosa. How lovely you look. I have been awaiting your birthday with eagerness.
Eagerness, Mr. Jasper.
Yes, your voice will no longer be subject to the fluctuations of adolescence. And what condition is your voice today, my dearest student?
As my tutor, perhaps that question should be best answered by you, Mr. Jasper. Shall I sing the Mozart?
No! I have composed something especially for you, my loveliest subject. On the occasion of your birthday, a choir mass is play being what it is. My life's blood is the most I can afford to offer.
Sir, Mr. Jasper, I cannot sing these words. It would not be proper.
Whatever can you mean?
I do not. I am not worthy of it.
As your music master, that should be my decision. We will begin.
Between the very dead of night and day, upon a steely sheet of light, I'll lay, and in the moonfall, I'll give myself to you. I'll bathe in moonfall, and dress myself in dew. Before the cloak of night reveals the morn, time holds its breath while it conceals the dawn, and in the moonfall all sound is frozen still, yet pressed against me, your skin will warm the chill of the moonfall. I feel its fingers, the veil of night betwixt our hearts let nothing intervene. Is the only sight I've seen. It's a lustrous moonfall as it blinds my view, so that soon I only see but you.
But lovelier than the do, when you sing the words, you must make me feel you mean them. From the beginning, again.
Between the very dead of night and day, upon a stage, I can't bear it, I'm frightened, take me away. Oh, child, it's okay. Don't speak to her for a minute and she'll be well.
She's not used to an audience. Besides, Mr. Jasper, you're such a conscientious master that I believe you make her afraid of you. And no wonder. You'd be afraid of her too under similar circumstances, wouldn't you, Miss Leather?
Not under any circumstance.
Ladies and gentlemen, our own fiery spirit, the unprotectable Miss Janet Carnival.
afternoon, Reverend Crispin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jasper, and allow me to introduce you to young Neville Lamlets. Him and his twin sister Helena have just arrived here from Ceylon, where they no longer have any family. And Neville has been entrusted to my care, whereas Helena will be staying here at the nun's house.
Welcome to Cloisterham, Mr. Landless.
I'm afraid young Neville has been given over to me to try and cool down his rather hot-tempered nature, and to help him make a new beginning here in Cloisterham.
You and your sister lost your parents recently, Mr. Landless.
Their mother died when they were quite young. Now their stepfather has crossed over as well.
I'm most sorry.
There is no need for you, bright gentlemen, to console me. As it happens, it was well my stepfather died when he did, or I might have killed him.
Victor Grimsday! You shocked me, unspeakably shocked me.
You never saw him beat my sister. My stepfather was a brute, Mr. Jasper. In desperation, Helena tried on more than one occasion to flee his cruel and miserly hand, even disguising herself as a boy, but to no avail. As for myself, from my earliest remembrances, I have had to hide a deep and bitter hatred that has made me secret and revengeful.
I say!
However, your kindness and goodwill have deeply moved me, sir. I pledge to change my ill-tempered ways and to break new ground for myself.
Ha, there's the lad. He'll soon fit in here, Mr. Jasper.
Your pupil, Mr. Jasper, she sings beautifully.
Thank you.
Your efforts have not been without success.
I trust so, Mr. Landless.
And, may I inquire as to whether your relationship extends beyond that of pupil and master?
Heavens, no, Neville. Young Rosa is engaged to Mr. Edwin Drood, John Jasper's nephew.
You do well to cast your eyes and interests in other directions, sir.
I beg your pardon, Mr.
No
Jasper.
pardon is necessary. However, I must be of quiet practice, I fear. I wish you well in your new life, Mr. Landless.
Thank you. Thank you indeed, Mr. Jasper. I trust we shall meet again. And I should like to meet this student and see what sort of man is worthy of the affection of this month.
Steady, lad. Steady.
You are feeling better now, aren't you? Very much, thank you. These surroundings, which may seem very secure to you, are new and unsettling for me. You will be my friend, won't you?
I will be as good a friend as such a mighty thing can be to such a womanly and handsome creature as you.
Who is Mr. Jasper?
My Edwin's uncle and my music master.
You know he loves me.
Oh, don't. He terrifies me. I feel I'm never safe from him. He has made a slave of me with his looks, forced me to keep silent without uttering a single threat.
What is it you fear?
I fear the moon falls. I fear the night sky. Bright icy streams will burn the blinding. Vast and near and restless, horrid vision.
leave the chaste sanctity of the nun's house and travel, for reasons which will soon become clear, to the wickedest corner of the wickedest hole of the fabric of the city of London. Below the street, and beneath contempt, lies the opium den of the Princess Papa. Here the universal tongue of opium is spoken with its sub-dialects of prostitution, burglary, violence for profit, and murder. And reigning supreme over this blemish upon England's fair complexion is the Princess Papa, who ministrates to a client's needs and who hears more than she tells. Portrayed for you this evening by the grande dame of the Music Hall Royale, the Queen Mother of the Red Light District, that good woman of ill repute, ladies and gentlemen, your own and beloved, Miss Angela Brighton!
Okay, that's what I tell them. If it did, would I be here? Mixing pipes, for then I sell them for a pint of rotten beer. Throats you cut to pocket tuppence, or you slut to cop some sleep. Bash a face for bleeding tuppence, pure disgrace to work so cheap. That's why I say, don't be a sinner for the price of London gin. You can pay for one square dinner with the wages of sin. Sell me soul, all of coffin. You could buy this sack of skin. On the whole, there ain't much profit in the wages of sin. In the wages of sin. What little piece of crumpet you've been buttering up instead of me, eh? What little slice of raspberry tart? Oh, I'm begging your pardon, Miss, I'm sure. First time round the town with him, is it? Never you worry. I've had him on numerous occasions. And whatever he's got in store for you, praise God, it'll be over in an instant. I had him when he was 14, God bless him. Better sins, have you? I've seen girls from gutter families trap rich men with fluttery ways as they coo past the door, please, ever knock on breakfast pays. Over there, in bed 11, sleeps a bleeding hypocrite, spends his days eyes cast ahead and spends his nights amongst his shit.
day steals into the room, would not the parishioners of Cloisterham be astounded to discover in bed 11 the goodly choirmaster of Cloisterham Cathedral, Mr. John Jasper?
Woman, get me long wine quickly. My task is only half finished, and your medicine is less potent.
So you're mixing wine with opium these days? I'll mix it for you now.
Yes. Before I can get to the changes of colour, great landscapes, I must be rid of him.
Who?
There she is.
God spare you, there's no one there.
And here I
What did you say? Did you just say rose of wood?
can't quite tell what I said. You carried me to the railway station and I feared to be lost.
I haven't fucking show me.
That seems a large sum for a small courtesy. However, feel that maybe. And the railway station?
Here's his old gate, about 10 minutes walk from the river.
Ah, thank you. Incredible.
Who are you then? And what are you?
I wonder how many of you noticed that meaningful statement. That sounded suspiciously like a clue to me. Might we have it again, my dear? Oh, what?
Who are you then? And what are you?
Indeed. And it is now the following day, and as we leave less sordid surroundings, we meet Cloisterham's leading citizen, Mayor Thomas Sapsey.
Good afternoon, Mayor Sapsey.
What? What's a Jaeger pop? So he's not here. Well, that's unacceptable, isn't it? You notice again who gets saddled with the... Ladies and gentlemen, now your kind indulgence for a short announcement. The part of Mayor Thomas Sapsey will not, I repeat, will not be portrayed by Mr. James Hitchens as is listed in your programme. As many of you will know, Mr. Hitchens has tended to appear more frequently at the bar than up here in front of the footlights. So it comes as no surprise to our regulars that once again Mr. Hitchens is massively indisposed due to injuries he received fighting for a lady's honour. Apparently, the lady wished to keep it. His part will have to be played. For an humble chairman and obedient servant, I refer, of course, to myself. Mr. William Cartwright, I trust his love. More your luck than mine.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Christmas.
Sapsy. I'm taking them to meet. In fact, here he comes now. Helen and Neville, I would like you to meet young Edwin Drood.
Sir!
Sir, I congratulate you on your good fortune, Mr. Drood.
Good fortune, sir?
Your betrothal, sir.
Yes.
Our Ned is soon to depart for your area of the world, Neville.
Ah, Ceylon, Mr. Drood.
No, but much the same. Egypt!
To make your fortune, sir.
No, to ensure Egypt has one. I shall soon be taking over my family's engineering concern there, and I plan to pull off a miracle.
Pray, what miracle?
The ferry transfers, Mr. Landis. A thoroughfare for commerce and travel through the desert to Alexandria.
Oh, monumental task, Mr. Drood.
It is indeed.
One wonders from where we would obtain, for example, the paving stones.
From the pyramids.
No!
Yes, my studies show there is enough rock in the great half of the top pyramid alone.
This is English blasphemy! Is it not enough that you take our delicate brew of tea leaves and likewise improve it by pouring cow's milk?
Neville, please! Let's not raise our voices here in Cloisterham High Street.
I meant no offense, sir.
And I did not mean for my awkward ways to arouse such emotion, or to ruffle your splendid feathers in this part.
I'm sure Mr. Landis only feels passionately about his part of the world, Edwin.
As long as he keeps his passions in check.
I fear I have not yet gotten used to your restrained climate, Master Edwin. Miss Mudge.
My uncle has given me some account of your content in the past, sir. I would have left it far behind you.
My reputation precedes me here. A situation I needs must fear. What hope have I of blending in with this my shade of skin? I thought I cleaned like slate at last, but they anticipate my past.
What shall I show them? The full effect.
What do I owe them? What they expect? A British subject on display in Ceylon today. Our emigration to this location has brought our station down a mile. This distant nation, divine creation, enlightened fire and English are they, and British am I.
British are they and English am I. There are two subjects we did discuss.
One is a monarch, the other's a prince.
And yet I fear you so.
A British subject nonetheless.
In town of Burma, what's all the fuss? All terra firma belongs to us.
A British subject bred and born, and subject lost to scorn. Our emigration to this location has brought us station down the line. This distant nation, divine creation, enlightened by and British are they, and British am I. Our emigration to this location has brought us station down the line. English are they and British am I. This is the way we'll stay. This is the way we'll stay till we die. Till we die.
You see, Mayor Sapsy, it's just as I've been saying. There's an instinctive rivalry between my own boy and this cannabis fellow, and I fear his hot-blooded Eastern temperament.
I think you exaggerate that a bit enough.
I will go mad! Do not realize that there is more than one side, one face to all things in nature. Beneath Neville's tainted English accent and adopted English manners, there lies a heathen Landis, a tribesman Landis, a half-blood, half-bred, half-caste who kills easily. He was a comb seeker.
That's quite extraordinary.
To the contrary, sir, nothing but people are ordinary. I too suffer from this sort of duality on occasion. Sometimes I forget things, and going back to fetch them, I half expect to find myself rounding a corner.
What about me having to play this Mayor Sapsy clerk and your chairman at the same time? It's damn guilty!
Indeed, like our two-sided mathematics, There's more room enough for two inside my mind. I am likewise in the haze of who I am, from scene to scene, before we do, before I need none to buy. So is it I, or is it he? And if I'm him, and if I'm him, each one of us, I know agree on what to do. And if I take the first sides within myself, then we divides up what is right or wrong. I'll go along with you. Happily, wappily, tappily, properly, twishing, present, corner, looking up, that's in a galaxy, on the virus, and busy besides the truth. Bombs your buckle from pennies to games and two-sided pictures of lunatics, and you're moving on, but the food of deceptive of fantasy, busy besides the coin. I'm sorry, heads or tails, high or low, she's up or down, left or right, or night or day. Nature seldom ever fails, and the light we provide enough to the birds inside what to say. There are shadows in me, shining on. If there's a rose, if there's a thorn, you're as good as dead as soon as born, and yet we smile. But like the usual is perverse, it seems to work more in reverse. If things are better, they'll be worse in just a while. Happily, wappily, tappily, properly, pushing, twice out to a foreign, and would you not fancy the currency, foreign to fantasy, piece of precise the quote. What was your uncle from pennies to games and two-sided pictures of lunatics, and you're moving up with the food of deception, the fantasy, piece of precise the quote. Down, wappily, tappily, down, 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 down. Brilliant and original idea, exactly. But now I must change. Listen. Bye-bye.
We now fall in step with a relic known only to the residents of Cloisterham as Durdles, a man whose knowledge of the cathedral tombs is exceeded only by his capacity for wilding spirits. He is wending his way towards an important assignation.
What's that you say, Bill?
I said an assignation. We may accept him who lives just around behind.
What's that you say, Bill?
I said around behind. Look, I didn't come here to be insulted.
Why? Where do you usually go?
I'm not a fool, you know.
Oh, which bit is missing?
You're next to an idiot.
Pleased to meet you.
Ladies and gentlemen, sitting in the room, Durdles this evening, the clown prince of the Music Hall Royale. Your friend, not mine. I give you, and I don't want it back.
That's just me, dear friends, by my own young lad, Nick Cricker II. Afternoon, Versace, your lordship, sir.
And good afternoon, Durdles.
Begging your pardon, sir. The cough. It's a touch of rheumatism.
I know you mean rheumatism.
No, sir. I've been digging your dead wife's grave.
You refer to the late Mrs. Thomas Sapsey as just that, Durdles, the late Mrs. Thomas Sapsey. That's how I like to refer to her. Indeed, that's how I like to think of her.
One in a million.
No, one in a raffle. But is my wife still ready?
Oh, yes, sir. And the door is all ready for my inscribing. I have to say that Mrs. Sapsey will be much happier once we've moved her from a temporary grave. Though it's not been at all damp, and the moles won't have been able to get at her for ages. There's nothing much you can do about the worms, mind you. I mean, they're made on meals, Mrs. Sapsea, no matter.
That's quite enough, Durdles. And who is this thing? This boy?
My protein, squire, name of deputy.
I put the lock on your wife's crib myself, your lordship.
Yes, and I have the keys right here. Oh, and it'll be my pleasure to unlock that door tomorrow and slide your old woman right in there. There's room enough for all the royal family to have afternoon tea.
Yes, yes.
Why, that crypt is a national treasure, if I may make so bold, your grace. Why, just the other day, Mr. Jasper asked if I'd take him down into the crypt to see it.
You might like to add that to your list of suspicious things.
Steady on, Bill. We don't want all these people leaping to the wrong conclusions without the facts at hand. Otherwise, they'll all be running up to the races.
Stop! That song is scheduled for later in the program. We mustn't stop the dramatic momentum we're building here.
Off to the right!
Oh, shut up! For now, we must descend into the darkness in hopes of shedding light upon our story as we follow Durdles and Deputy to the graveyard of Cloisterham Cathedral.
Blame it on his infectious youth, sir. Oh, but that was most excellent wine you gave me, Mr. Jasper, and more potent than I'm accustomed. Did you get a chance to look inside Mrs. Sapsey's crypt while I was asleep?
No. I seem to have gotten lost.
Oh, but I was lost myself in a fitful state, Mr. Jasper. Oh, I imagine someone touched me and took something from me. Oh, and here's what it was. Mayor Sapsey wouldn't be too pleased if he found out I'd been leaving the mausoleum keys in front of his dead wife's grave. Why, he gave me strict instructions that the keys were to... Oh. And now the key to Mrs. Sapsey's tomb is missing. What do you think, Mr. Jasper?
I think that I have guests due any moment for Christmas dinner, and a poor host I not to offer them all the comfort and joy of the season. A happy Christmas to you, girls.
God rest ye merry, Mr. John Jasper.
Yes, we spent many a bright and chatting afternoon here amongst these silent rooms, eh, my own? Rosa, we are not legally bound to marriage.
Then, Eddie dearest, let us change to brother and sister from this day forth.
Never to be husband and wife?
Never.
I am not bound to confess that this thought does not originate with you alone, Rosa.
I know, dear one. You have not been truly happy with our engagement, nor have I.
I am sorry. And I for you, poor boy. If only our parents are not as good as married as at birth, perhaps they won't know how we truly feel towards each other.
If we were perfect strangers, how perfect life could be.
I'd know if I adored you, you'd know if you loved me. Too much we've seen together to judge the view. Too much we've been together, and I assumed the future,
And I presumed that you were there, and yet I
strangers, I'd find my way with ease.
I'd see the path before me, the forest from the trees.
But life be real without you, nor always there.
How do I feel about you?
I care.
Too near to touch you, my dearest Ned. How much you love us, how much you
Brother, sister,
I pray you will take this clasp, left me by my mother as a vow of my eternal friendship. God bless you.
God bless you, dear.
How do I feel about you? I care. Too near to touch you, my dearest Ned. How much you love
My uncle. Oh, Rosa, whatever's the matter? Could we keep our change of plans from Mr. Jasper for a while, Auntie?
Yes, of course. Why give him such bad news on Christmas Eve? But alas, we must be off. We're expected for dinner, and I fear there's a storm brewing.
What bizarre weather you have here in Cloisterham. First snow and now this threatening storm. Well, the gods must be angry.
God must be angry now. We use the singular here in England.
Storm for Christmas Eve.
Yes. It was like this the night Rosa's mother died.
Ah, Nobody tells me you were once engaged to Rosa's mother, Mr. Crisparkle.
Yes, but I fear I was a bit too Anglican, a bit too angular for her taste. Then, at a seaside party celebrating her second wedding anniversary, she somehow slipped whilst walking unobserved along the cliffs and drowned in the embrace of the ungrateful waves! Not enough. Let us follow Mr. Jasper's lead and forget our grievances with each other and with life over a little Christmas dinner.
I pray you will forgive the meagre merits of my humble table.
Sorry, Billy, we fought the storm all
Miss Bud, it is wondrous to see you again. Let me take your place.
I have no idea you're taking on domestic staff, Uncle. Edwin, Mr. Land will still take you seriously.
No fear of that.
Now, lads, Rosa, you have no idea what it means to have you in my chambers.
Once in this month of Holly, you remind me of the flowering hibiscus.
And how is it that you remind me of an inconsistent bacon level? For while your metaphors are quite stale, your manners are uncommonly fresh.
You go too far, sir!
Gentlemen, it is Christmas Eve and I will tolerate no further unchristian-like behavior between you. Now, this mulled wine is some great stuff indeed. I prepared it especially for you from a recipe I obtained from a recent trip to London.
Will any port in the storm for me, Uncle?
Oh, yes, any port in the storm. Very good, Ned. Many thanks.
Now, let us drink. Gee.
This wine is more potent than usual, Jack.
Well, I thought you lads would like it. Now, let us have no more ill will between you.
Please, Edwin. Very well. There is no longer any cause for rivalry between us, Neville. You have my friendship.
Then a Merry Christmas to you.
The goose! Dramatic pause! Is cooked!
Miss Bud, your next Christmas Eve will be in Egypt.
My goodness, why don't you accompany us to Cairo? Those will have to do someone to carry our bags.
What?
Someone better acquainted with a foreign tongue than he is with minding his own.
Gentlemen, ladies, let us be seated.
Sir, I don't much like your tone, that supercilious sneak. Where by the cats and mine are but a waistcoat. More can still be torn and read like you said. What's so good?
Something in this speech seems ominous to me. You don't overreach, pray promise this to me.
Face to dignifying, for this we should be glad.
Won't you try some wine?
No good can come from that.
My dearest nephew Ned, I wish to wish you well. The world is yours before you, just like
Oysters on the shell.
That looks as you are in your love is hot, but less than floor, less than sure than weight. Your history would indicate how past some are partial to your fate. The ruthless love is late.
Something sends a chill like feet upon my grave. Got my think away, completely insane.
With these words they say, bring harm upon the land.
I was for a day.
No good can come from bad.
My dearest, deepest friends, may I propose a toast? Rosa Barty and
Very blessed are we, when out so many stars. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Which one of you will come?
Lances cut like blades of bone with daggers drawn and clutch you. There you get it, to stand as you want to be. My life and share my life and see. Get it, force me, run somewhere. Shoot, wait, me up.
I feel it, I feel it. We are friends and friends. They're not to forget. Healing their friends, every element.
In younger days I hungered for another, Rosa's mother. After Rosa's birth she left this earth, now dust is all I'm worth.
Soon all the time we thought that I dressed in all quite naive. But I perceive these boys, this noise, overriding with me I can see.
With these new additions, then they be revealed. Murderous ambitions, otherwise concealed. None you are cast for, none you are bad. Piracy to rise, no good can come from bad. No good can come from See, I must go down to the river weir to see this bit of nature unchecked. Will you excuse me, Uncle?
Of course.
I will accompany you on your walk.
Back to the nun's house before the storm. Good night, Edwin.
My dear.
Everyone.
Rosa.
Well, I shall see the ladies safely home.
Will you join us, Uncle?
No, Edwin, Plans I must execute. But I'll not let you go in that flimsy coat. No, you shall wear mine own humble but serviceable caped coat.
Come, Edwin. Your destiny calls.
Then goodbye, Uncle. Goodbye, all!
33 meet again, when, if ever. It is now late the next day, Christmas Day, to be sure. The storm is over, but in its wake there is to be found no trace of young Edwin Drood.
Mr. Crisparkle! Oh, Reverend, I know something terrible has happened to Edwin.
Let us wait until my assistant Bazard reports. You have heard, I'm sure, the sentiment voiced that no news is most certainly good news. Oh, in fact, here he comes now. No news! I don't believe you've met my assistant Bazard. His chief occupation is in showing guiding parties around our church. Quite the showman is our Bazard, though tragically misplaced.
Misplaced?
Yes, you see, our Bazard carries with him a secret. Now, Rosa, what do you think Bazard has done?
Oh dear, nothing dreadful, I hope.
Our Bazard has written a play.
The Thorn? The Thorn of Anxiety.
When will it be performed, Mr. Bazard?
Never!
Sometimes I think our Bazard finds more cheer in its lack of support, like a citizen of Greece who prefers the Parthenon in its ruined state. But I hope to see Bazard's work performed someday.
I too, Mr. Bazard.
I love the theatrical world, but there are many stages beyond the proscenium. I long to play a larger role.
Yes, well, Bazard, how about you use some of that enviable creativity to find some accounting for young men?
That assignment I even accept.
Oh, my dear, hopeless Edwin.
How like her mother she looks. Why, had the Lord not seen fit to smile on me? Had her mother not married another, nor met her death 2 years later at that pleasure party by the cliffs, why, I might have been Rosa's.
Father! I need your prayers.
Rise, my child. The little bell summons us.
And is it not significant, Mayor Sepsi? Neverlanders was last seen fleeing the district.
You convinced me, Mr. Jarper. There could indeed be a secret killer hiding in Cloisterham's crucifixion and bosom. Good evening, madam. And all signs do indeed point to Neverlanders.
My thoughts exactly, sir.
I shall instruct a few strong fellows to bring him here using whatever force is necessary so that we may question him.
You do that, sir?
Yes.
We'll get that Neverlanders right enough now. And when we find him, we'll educate the murderous swine.
Right, with any luck, we'll have an hanging for Christmas.
Fetch the dogs.
Mr. John Jasper! Mr. John Jasper! Look what I've discovered!
Why, it's my coat, the one I gave to Edwin last night. It's been torn to ribbons and blood. Oh, God, there's a blood in it. Where did you find this?
Under a rock by the river Weir!
My dear boy, it's been murdered! I take this oath before you, but it recorded in your memory that I shall fasten the crime of murder upon the murderer and devote myself to his destruction.
I will remember your words, Mr. John Jasper!
I believe that's it for you this evening.
That's right, Bill.
I mean, it hardly seems worth you coming up from Knutsford each night. You seem to be specialising in these narrow parts of late.
Not by choice, Mr. Cartwright.
Oh, well, let's see. In Julius Caesar you played...
A senator.
Oh, well, at least you're in for the kill. I mean, it's rather strange that Charles Dickens created your character at all. Unless, of course, he had a more promising future in mind for you.
It's the dream I hold on to, Mr. Cartwright.
Now, I do note that you understudied Clyde Paget with John Jasper each night, surely one of these days.
Well, as a matter of fact, Mr. Paget claims to have never missed a performance in his entire career, ladies and gentlemen, so...
No.
Philip, there's not much left of this act, and the second act's considerably shorter than the first. Is there any chance you'd have a song ready at hand?
Oh, well, as a matter of happenstance, I do have, in common with my character, aspirations as an author, and have composed a brief song, which I would venture to say underscores the dilemma that I share with the character of Bazard that I portray. I'd hesitate to...
Its title. What's the title, Mr. Bax?
Never the luck, Mr. Cartwright.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, an unscheduled diversion in our journey this evening. The debut of an unpublished and perhaps rightfully unheard Mr. Philip Bax singing his own Never the Luck.
The light, and I'll have my night someday. Still, each precious part seems over and done before I begun to speak. I cast out my line, keep my hand in, but I'll not stand in this week. Some starless night they'll call towards the wings. Oh, here dances and sings. That's when yours truly springs. And seeing me then, they will cry. Why? He knows each line and everyone's cue. What a surprise! We must let him to the part. Will play, I'll waltz my way into your heart. Nothing, I'm sure, lad, I'm sure.
Where is Edwin Drood?
Why do you ask me this way?
Because you were the last person in his company, and he is nowhere to be found.
Mayor Satsy, do you wish to question him?
Yes. You left for the river at what time?
In all honesty, I cannot recall anything of what happened once Edwin and I had reached the river.
And what are those bloodstains on your shirt front?
I acquired these bloodstains, sir, when this rabble of yours attacked me and dragged me forcibly back from the countryside where I had been walking.
General Rabbit, as acting constable for the district, I place you under arrest.
How many of them did it take you to mar you in this way?
8.
You have an interesting way in which the law works here in Cloisterham, Mr. Satsy. And Mr. Jasper, for days you've been going on about how there's impending violence between your nephew and my brother. Huh? What do you know of this?
Only that my nephew is dead.
Mayor Sapsy, I warrant that young Neville has no knowledge of Edwin's whereabouts beyond that which he has freely volunteered.
You shall volunteer nothing further, Neville.
I would remind you and your brother that there is the issue of murder at hand.
Before you utter that word again, you laughable man, perhaps you would be kind enough to supply a victim, a body, a corpse, something more tangible than an errant nephew, a timorous uncle, and a ludicrous city official who has no back to his charges, but in pure pomp and sheer circumstance.
Here, here.
Well said, Helena.
She's right, you know, Mayor Sapsy. Without a body, you cannot possibly arrest young Neville.
Oh, very well, release him.
Oh, bless you, Mr. Sparkle.
I am overpaid.
I only wish I could express my gratitude without this strange and somewhat geographically untraceable accent.
Yes, well, let's all pause for a moment, shall we? So here is where matters now lie. Edwin Drood has vanished and may well be lied.
Dead! John Jasper has sworn vengeance upon his nephew's murderer.
Who most of this populace believes to be Neville Landis.
But the charges against them have been rescinded thanks to Helena's steely resolve and the support of the kindly
Reverend Chris Barlow, who was once engaged to
Rosa's deceased mother. Meanwhile, it's difficult to know what one should make of.
Delos, the drunken stonemason, and his young apprentice deputy. Not to mention
The mysteriously motivated purveyor of opium, Princess Puffer.
Statements to consider in the interval with one admonition. Should you find yourself jumping to conclusions without all the relevant information, you could find yourself carried off to the races! Yes! I think to a song, the one evening in the music hall royale would be complete without a rendition of his great mark anthem, off to the races! Quick conclusions often lead the best of us astray. The wisest move in life is just to wait. Otherwise you're galloping, emotions run away like horses at the gates. Off to the races, off to the races, off to the race we go. Off where the chase is, and what the race is, we seldom seem to know.
broken hearts and nothing never more pursue. And when the world was stopped, I'd say goodbye.
Take a race.
Be happy to the time I start a new view.
Up there and play the dice.
Then,
Off to the races, off to the races, when 30 races roll. Exciting races, some frequent places, the need for love and all. Don't fall back on your assumptions, hasty presumptions, mind till you win. Mind the track like a lad running blind, try lagging behind, you'll find you'll win. Let's ask you Victoria, she's had 9 kids today. You wonder how Prince Albert took him through. By her decree he had to procreate, said she, make me a man. Off to the races, the royal races, the same as poor folks do.
When she embraces our royal races, the siren wants that.
baton of Mr. Thomas Purcell. Incidentally, if you're enjoying our modest efforts tonight, I hardly recommend that you return to this venue next week when we will be presenting our latest and most ingenious work, Hamlet Part 2. They will die in Part 1. And we have a Part 2, they will die. Right, I trust we are rested, relaxed, restored, renewed, and more than ready to conclude what is surely the most ambitious endeavour of your Music Hall Royale to date, that of solving, by your votes shortly to be counted, the mystery of Edwin Drood! Months have passed, the very summer is upon us. Still there is to be found no trace of young Edwin Drood, and all of Cloisterham is agog with rumour and suspicion. But there are further developments. Soon, inquiring sleuths have arrived on the scene, one being the Princess Puffer, whom you've already met, and the other being a detective, a man of mystery wearing a fulsome beard, a bulky coat, and the name of Dick Datchery. I said Dick Datchery. These apparent strangers arrive with grand intentions and great expectations, which I might add we're presenting in Brighton next season. And like ourselves, are just now arriving at Cloisterham Station. Is John Jasper arriving from another treatment in London? Souls in Cloisterham, none are more intently curious than these two sleuths.
I'm on the track of a man in black. He disappeared before the next door cleared. I want the scent of a resident. I'll check them well, inspect the personnel. I'm led upon a doubtful trace. Who's dead and gone without a trace? This is a private investigation. Just when did Drood depart? And wherefore art his destination? It's a private investigation. He's vanished into where? Vanished where you'll reach. While on the trail of a small detail, I drew a bead. I thought a clue I'd lead. I'll navigate as the earth first mate, incognito, into the fog we go. I'm not a man of many needs. I'll search and scan behind the scenes. This is a private investigation. Just when the Drood depart, and wherefore art his destination. It's a private investigation. I'll turn this private club into a public situation. It's a private.
It's a private.
It's a private investigation. That's beyond my estimation. I'll hear him rise, scrutinized. I'm steering by, pursuing life. I clear his line with my side, private eyes.
Ah, Reverend Crisparkle, there you are, do-do-do-do. All things bright and beautiful tonight, don't you think?
Yes, as if the stars were mere punctures on the sleeves of earth, through which heaven's light could be seen. Or something along those lines. I only wish my assistant, Bazard, who is away on business, could be here to see a night such as this.
Hold on there, boy. He's a face we've not seen before. Welcome to Fair Cloisterham, Captain. I am in way of being official greeter to all visitors who might happen to have the price of a bottle of wine on them. My name is Durdles.
My name is Datchery, Dick Datchery, and I was wondering if lodgings could be found around these parts.
Oh, no doubt, Mr. Datchery.
Something architectural and out of the way. Inconvenient.
Oh. You'll find any number of inconvenient lodgings here in Cloisterham, sir.
Yes, a cathedral as well.
Excuse me, sir, I couldn't help overhearing, but the only such accommodation I know of along those lines is a single lodgings above the rooms of Mr. John Jasper. He's a great admirer of my own.
Is that the fellow who's been much afflicted by the loss of his nephew, Edwin Drood?
There's much afflicted fellow, John Jasper. Is he often dressed in mourning these days?
That's the man, and you won't catch me going near him again.
Why is that, dear boy?
Because I'm going to be lifted off my legs and choked again.
I find that most interesting. I shall enjoy watching the comings and goings of this town.
That man should speak to his tailor.
Excuse me, miss. Can you tell me where Mr. John Jasper? Oh, I'm ill. No, miss, I always look this way.
Rosa, we've both been guilty of neglecting your music lessons. When shall we?
Never, sir.
Am I being politely told that you are abandoning your studies altogether?
The politeness is yours, not mine. I beg not to be questioned. I will not answer any more. At least I have that in my power.
But Rosa,
I do not wish to hear you, sir.
I do not forget how many eyes can I live others, but you shall hear me even against your wishes. Dearest Rosa, oh Rosa, even when my dear boy was engaged to you, I loved you madly. I kept our secret loyally.
You are as false to him, Sir Damien Downey, as you are now. You know that you may be afraid to open his kind eyes to the truth, that you are a bad, bad man.
How beautiful you are. You are more beautiful in anger than repose. I do not ask for your love. Give me yourself and your hatred, that pretty rage, that enchanting scorn. It'll be enough for me.
You're mad.
I warn you, sweet witch, rare charmer. You must stay or do more harm than can be undone.
You're mad.
I mean to show you how mad my love can be.
Love! You dare to use that word.
Yes.
Love was a word not yet past three, which was red, little steam of sun. Innocent enough, it was intended to be used on rare occasions, not used by every tongue. Never has a word need ever taken so in vain. What it will mean, I remain sweetly blood. Never has an instant right exhausted such time as lies and still lost and found under in this word. You call it love. I call it rude. I call it lust. I call it near. I call it cruel.
Call it love.
I think it fast. I think about it.
Smile.
I'll take it. What is the matter?
I got on that.
You give to a
I think in the name of love.
Bruise about the danger in the face. Every curl crimson. She's a charming girl and you a fighter. Rosa is the only soul in Cloisterham, it seems, who senses justice sort of dreams you dream at night. You think you're stale, but not my sin. Every fibre of my being told me since I was betrothed. That's your most unnatural attention. Conscious words I dare not mention. You must know how much I learnt. You never once meant to see you clap.
I did not touch. You have no choice. It's a good Told me twice. I understand the name of love.
I will not fail. My tragic life.
The enemy bites.
I have a choice.
Oh, no,
I take the light. I don't permit.
You will submit.
You get it. The name of love. The name of love. The name of love. The name of love.
The name of love. The name of love.
here for?
Then you're leaving Cloisterham already?
Not bloody likely. Never in my wretched life have I come close to getting anything I wanted. More for me to give up now. I never understand those people who just give up right when you ought to push on. Once I bet my last 10 pence and won. Twice as rich, then friends said, call it done. How sad I said, so that's you are this dreamy then. 20 pence instead of 10. Double up my bet again. In life you start the same as when you're not. If you lose, you're just where you've begun. If you've won, don't quit while you're ahead. Just press your blessed luck instead.
Don't try to think what move might be the best. Use the heart that beats within your breast. Never rest.
Don't quit while you're ahead. Sing out, there's more in store for me.
I see my dream ship finally coming in like a steamship, anchoring into wind.
Lift your chin. Remember what I said. Don't quit while you're ahead. Let go.
I knew there must be love that's yet to be. Only just 3 winks away from me, I believe.
Don't quit while you're ahead. Don't worry how you tread. Who cares?
And there's a shot, one pipe dream that is mine, or romance, quite right upon the vine.
Don't resign.
No victor ever fled. Don't quit while you're ahead.
You say ta-ra, ta-ra.
Boom!
Ra-di-da-shi-do, re-la-ra.
Boom!
Ra-di-da-shi-do, la-di-da. Don't quit while you're ahead. Don't say I'm off to bed. Farewell.
For God's own sake, so raise the stakes. You struck a lucky game, never break through any lucky chamber of fate. Don't quit while you're ahead. Seize the youngest head to sit. Ta-ra, ta-ra. Boom! Bang it back to glory be. Boom! Bang it back to glory be. Don't quit while you're ahead. Sing out, there's more in store for me. For me. For me. Now at last we see the slightest glimmering of light, quite shimmering in the dim dark night. So long have we been blind, but finally we unwind the plot. The truth is this: we
It was at this point, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Charles Dickens laid down his pen. No, the mystery of Edwin Drood. Tonight, however, at least within the confines of this humble theatre, we shall together try to solve, resolve, and conclude the mystery of Edwin Drood! One minor mystery we can resolve immediately, though it has little to do with the plot at hand. You see, most literary experts agree that the part of our inquiring detective, Mr. Dick Datchery, is actually someone we've already met. A character from Act 1 who is disguised as Datchery, roaming Cloisterham so as to better investigate the disappearance of Edwin Drood. And as many of you have already guessed, the part of the detective Datchery has been played thus far this evening by that master and mistress of male impersonation, Miss Alice Nutting! But this does not mean that Edwin Drood is Datchery. The reason for Miss Nutting's portrayal this evening is she was contracted to appear in both acts of the play, and our management agrees in an honest week's work for an honest day's pay. You know what I'm saying? So that brings us to our first question. Is Edwin Drood dead or alive? Mr. Charles Dickens experimented with many different titles for our story. For example,
The loss of Edwin Drood. The flight of Edwin Drood.
The disappearance of Edwin Drood.
but nowhere the death or murder of Edwin Drood. And then some may say that a mystery without a murder isn't a mystery at all. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our questions will be answered primarily by you, but in a daring and perhaps dangerously democratic move. The Music Hall Royale has given our company the chance to vote upon one key issue each night. And so, my fellow acolytes of a thespianic persuasion, your key question tonight is, Mr. Throttle,
is Edwin Drood dead? Or alive? Miss Nutting, who has a vested interest in the outcome, will kindly turn her back to the cast. Gentlemen, ladies, as your whimsor takes you this evening, all those who believe Edwin Drood is dead, please raise your hands now. Thank you. And all those who believe Drood is alive, please do the same.
I'm sorry, Miss Nutting, but you snapped it. By a major majority, I fear. Our next key question, Mr. Throttle.
Oh, who is the detective? Dick Datchery.
Well, we can safely eliminate Edwin Drood from that equation, as our company has voted him dead for the entire evening.
Dead! Ha bloody ha ha! You absolute envious little shits! It's a transparent clear to everyone here that Drood, that I am Datchery, and that you are all insanely jealous of all the attention that I, not you, I, have been receiving in the local press. All right then, bye all!
Miss Nutting, I'm sorry. Oh, you would not believe the week we've had with her. First, the dressing room was too small, then the massage was too long. I told you she was splitting hairs. But I must apologise, ladies and gentlemen, for that bit of unpleasantry in what I'm sure you'll agree has been an otherwise flawless evening. And I must also strenuously point out that many literary experts disagree with Miss Nutting's contention that Edwin Drood is Datchery. Far from it, there are many candidates for the face behind Datchery's beard. For example, I give you Helena Landless, about her never revealed in Act 1.
On more than one occasion, Helena tried to flee our stepfather's cruel and miserly hand, even disguising herself as a boy.
A hit, a palpable hit, but is it a meaningful thrust? Wouldn't Helena Landless be reluctant to pursue John Jasper under the given circumstances?
Not under any circumstance.
But the candidates hardly end there. What say you of Basil?
I love the theatrical world, but there are many stages beyond the proscenium. I long to play a larger role.
More likely to don such a melodramatic garb and seek the spotlight. Why otherwise does he appear in our story at all?
My earliest remembrances, I have been secret and revengeful.
More likely to have investigated the disappearance of Drood than he was most suspected of foul play, or did someone else wish to clear Neville's name?
Neville has been entrusted to my care.
Ah, the Reverend Mr. Crisparkle, whose passions and energy lay hidden beneath his clerical garb. He adopted another uniform, that of Datchery, so as to better investigate the lad who has been his charge and responsibility. And then there is the puzzling and intriguing possibility of Rosa. Could it be that we have underestimated the resourcefulness of this woman-child? Did she take it upon herself to investigate this bit of drood? Looks can be deceiving.
I'd say.
One thing remains clear. Datchery is not the Princess Puffer, John Juff, but Durdle's deputy, or even Mayor Sapsey, for in Mr. Dickens's novel and in our story, they all appear, it seems, with him. They're observed to be in his company. So that leaves you with the following candidates for the role of the detective Dick Datchery for this evening. And may I suggest that we do this as they do in amateur theatrical contests. So when the handkerchief is held above each head of each candidate, pray applaud for your own favourite in the part of the detective Dick Datchery. And do remember, we still have bigger decisions to make. Soon we will be asking you to decide who the murderer is of Edwin Drood. So don't merely vote for whichever cast member is a distant cousin of yours lost. Mr. Connell, if you please.
The underrated Mr. Bazar. The lovely Miss Rosa Budd. The tempestuous Miss Helena Lambert. All the way from Ceylon, Mr. Neverlanders. And the ecstatic, ecclesiastic Reverend Crisparkle.
I think that's between Helena and Gazet, so we'll do that again. Right, here we go. All those of Gazet! You. Very good. To assist you in the process. But now to a much more. That's it, really. Appalling behaviour is due entirely to upbringing. Her parents were in the iron and steel business. Mother irons, father steals. She was previously known as the orthopedic soprano. She sang in all the joints. Pub called the Cock and Comfort. Not much comfort, but plenty of. Oh, thank you. All in the mood.
family buggers, aren't you? But now to a much more serious matter. For now, as in all great mystery stories, we must find ourselves a killer, a culprit, a fiend! In short, the murderer of our dear departed, vanished, vanquished, late, lamented, titled character of our play, Edwin Drood! Oh, shut up! One more like that and I'll send you all back to the Salvation Army! Now you're standing out in the rain, singing Jesus Wants Me for the Sunbeam! Who killed Edwin Drood? Who shall be our murderer tonight? First, for your consideration, I give you the most obvious candidate for the part of villain this evening, Mr. Clyde Paget as John Jasper. You are just loud down in the beauty Port Royale for the villain. Too late for that now. You have to do it all again. Go on. Now we're going to do this until we get it right, and if we don't, you're going to form a line up here and sing 83 choruses of the church bell will ring tonight because the vicar's got the clapper. We will ruin your evening, as if we haven't already. Right, last chance. I give you the most obvious candidate for the part of villain this evening, Mr. Clyde Paget as John Jasper. Serious, ladies and gentlemen, is this the face of a murderer? Well, I'll rephrase the question. Could this be all there is to the mystery of Edwin Drood? That John Jasper did indeed kill his nephew Edwin Drood in a hopeless attempt to attain the love of the fair Miss Rosa Well, where then the mystery? That's not sure, isn't it? Where then the mystery? Where indeed? So, do you opt for the obvious answer or for a more perplexing solution? Now, certain cast members can be eliminated immediately from the bidding. Young Deputy and my own Mayor Sapsy were, without question, intended for comic relief. So you are left with the following candidates for the role of murderer this evening.
Attention has made me quite mad.
Never someone as pure and innocent as myself murder my own true dead.
Durdles, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than you drew the frontal lobotomy.
In all honesty, I cannot recall what transpired once Edwin and I had reached the river. But he was an odious little twit and he deserved what he got!
The Princess Mother! Who am I? And what am I?
Reverend Crisparkle, I in some way confused my mission here on Earth.
John Jasper! Stood, thank you. So quite loud. I've stood in cold shame and suspicion since our story began.
Time, ladies and gentlemen, time at last to decide. And for the sake of accuracy, we're going to do this by a show of hands. So let's have the house lights up and we'll begin. Energy saving light bulbs. God, just what I've been dealing with tonight. Once more, try holding hands. Contact with them. Members of our company are even now circulating amongst you to take your vital votes. will now offer a sip of port to your chosen fiend so that he or she will know your verdict, and so that the final denouement comes as a complete surprise. I strenuously request that you all close your eyes tightly. So close your eyes then, now.
Close your eyes!
Close your eyes!
Thinking of that.
I am offering the port. Our murderer is drinking it. Okay, you can all open your eyes. You cannot trust anyone here tonight. And so as our cast departs backstage, where at this very moment your votes are being counted, I only caution you to prepare for a few unexpected twists and turns as we serpentine towards the conclusion you have chosen for us this evening. And so, ladies and gentlemen of the Music Hall Royale, for the first time ever, and at long last, by your own determination, the conclusion, the finale of the mystery of Edwin Drood! The first chapter of Mr. Dickinson's novel was entitled The Dawn. Unsurprisingly, the last chapter was called The Dawn Again. So yes, let's begin in the cold grey tendrils of a dim English dawn.
Oh, it's bloody freezing again. Excuse me, miss. What is it? Can you spare 3 and 6pence for a Christian soul in distress?
We're both Christian souls in distress, I fear, and yet I have more than this. I have little more than 3 and 6 to get me to London.
Are you running away from something?
Yes, at last I am. Now I must.
Rosa! How on earth do you know my name? No. I've only known you since the day you were born. I've only fed you and bathed you. Oh, don't look at me, Rosa. I don't want you to see me this way. But when you look at me now, Rosa, and see the face of your nan staring back. knew that one night watching me was this Mr. Datchery, so I followed his tracks to the lodgings in the back. And I hate to confess, I watched this man undress, and I saw sudden wise who out of his bold disguise, it took great strength of will and much wit to plan this. Dick Datchery is Miss Blindless!
Thank God for that. The sheep has been sheared. I don't know how it lives to keep with a beard. Gladly I shed this debt of gold. My explanation I now invoked. My method in taking the role of a widow who my husband soul was to leave me disguise my good friend in sight while I take an inquiring stroll. The strangers will chat with a chap and reveal this and that with a snap. I'm not nearly of women who queen too much as a great handicap. So this disguise will be very rich, laying the mark to a man. Really, there's nothing much to it. Most very animal gun. But I'm gonna live in it, I'm gonna live in it, I'm gonna live in it, yeah. The ethical bit, I was virtually out in my wit. So to clean Evan's name, I confess to my shame, what's the vengeance as well I admit. I followed just as behind no, from the den he descended to below. And when Papa came here was immediately clear, my suspicions were quite apropos. I crept in alone with Jasper, I saw the dog with the sun. Then I got Rosamund's house, how much she gave you that night. Just took it from there for hurling his death to the weird of it, I suppose. Helen and Dutchly knows, and the proof is quite clear that the spring does to him to be tied up and stung. And from this limerick, let him be hung.
I will not lie. I wish next to die. 'Twas said hard. A man spit and drain toward eyes rain. The sweat and pregnancy will better in his brain. And if he draws a pop pause in madness, opium smoke supply. And very bright to see, who punches and presents himself lying on the sea. And now I think he's had the break for breaking through the door. I'm out, he's out, I'm in, he's free, I'm free, I'm me once more. How many times have I been rude on my flights? On my flights that burst a small presumption of his rights. But his hair is whitish, my rose is dead. So no smoke for me to control me when big. At night I feel myself a flask of laudanum. I juice my neck and never lie to rank some. That's when I find the flirt of fancy to take place. I lost my hands outstretched towards Edwin's pale white face. And in the moonfall I saw my fingers clutching his neck so tightly, touching my sleep, he fell so moonfall then fell on me. But God's the deed was much too easy. As much as over, and such tragedy defining. Awake to chase the thrill. Now I've confessed. Now we both can rest.
Hang him!
No! I can't let it happen. Yes, you placed the coat that young Drood wore that night down by the River Weir to throw suspicion on Neville Landless. Oh, you're a bad one, Mr. Jasper. The evil one is inside of you. But you're not a murderer. You didn't kill Edwin Drood.
Servants, let me understand. Are you saying that John Jasper did not kill his nephew?
Exactly! Your Lordship, sir. You see, it was a wild night that Christmas Eve, as you remember, Squire, and I sought shelter near Mr. Jasper's door. It was then that I saw one amongst you throttle Edwin Drood in cold blood. And in a convenient flash of lightning, I saw who it was! That was quite a long speech, Bill. Do you think I could have quick in the port?
Yes.
Right, no, sorry. Suddenly, I see Mr. Jasper come out of his own home under the influence of potent medicine, and suddenly he collapses. And then he gets up, and he picks up Drood, and takes him down to the cathedral, to the graveyard, deposits him for potty. Right in Mrs. Sapsey's tomb. What? Well, yes, I told you there was plenty of room in there.
But look, Dad, you must tell us who did it.
Lord love me! It was Basil!
Time for the town from every light to violent crime. To solve the mystery will pluck me from my shell. So I ensure the crime by killing Drood myself. Must have haste in hand to gain the share thing the public does demand. A controversial, I don't want to tell you more. That is the side of the floor. Your death had been crude and Edwin doubly rude. So I set out to bring about the death of Edwin Drood. And it turned out to be this region's hotly army raid. And I know all, I now show all. At last I center stage. And the knot around his wife's neck, and his head was struck nearby. I thought as he fell down into the muck that finally the luck have I. That finally
we all in our lives have a need for love, romance, or at this hour of the evening, any reasonable facsimile thereof. Which brings us to resolve one final question. Which two in our company will find that commodity we all seek? Who shall be our lovers tonight? On the distaff side, you have Helena Atlas, Roosevelt, and the serviceable Princess Puffer. One of these three would you like paired up with one of our remaining male leads? So, be indicated by your applause once again. Helena Landis. Roosevelt. Princess Papa. We have a variety of well-heeled bachelors on display. John Jasper, Deputy, Gold Devils, Reverend Chris Sparkle, Neville Landis, and that's it. So, which one with the Princess of Papa? With your applause, with your hands. Your hands must be red raw. That's beautiful. Chris Sparkle.
Just for one more cheer. Right in between these two. Princess Papa. Deputy! We're about to have a love song!
Oh, Mr. Landless, I understand you come from exotic lands. I'll teach you tricks you don't even know in the aria.
Perhaps there's something good to be said for England after all.
As we were perfect strangers, how strangely met are we?
I find I now adore you. Our best is yet to be.
So long I long to hold you, they drew it so.
Love me so that told you.
Let's not resist this ending.
Once we have kissed, pretending takes no skill. This strangeness makes me thrill.
Of Edwin Drood. Ah, if only he could speak to us from beyond the grave. What could he tell us? What could he say?
Hello, I am Lazarus, risen from the grave. Quite alive, you'll find me. This tomb behind me is where I face my closest shame. When I struck my head against the street, I was stunned, not stricken. Our plot doth thicken as Jasper flew me off my feet to the current. I awoke in dark beyond belief, and while still above me showed their grief, I was screaming for my very breath. Only moments from death, you have no idea the sudden strength that you feel within you, the steel and sinew as death stands smiling at arm's length. I escaped from cloister had I fled, and I did not return here till I learned their just strength and wish me dead. But more than that, more than one solution fits the crime. What I've learned is lifeless bits of time, and you fight for every tiny speck when you're held by neck. I